Hello everyone and welcome to an episode of Cartoon Doodle Draw Along with me, Mr Wyatt. Today we're going to be drawing elephants, a really awesome animal, and we're going to be breaking it down with some simple shapes and lines, putting it together from a few different angles and different sizes as well. So grab a pen or pencil, some paper, and let's get going. So today again I'm going to be using my awesome looking glove and I'm going to be using Autodesk Sketchbook, which is an online platform where you can draw using a smart pen and tablet, which is what I use, but also you are perfectly fine to have a go with pen and pencil at home. It's completely up to you. So we're going to start off, as always, just with a little bit of a warm-up. We want to just be practicing our shapes and lines, thinking about what kinds of shapes or even letters we might be using to draw these critters. So you might want to practice some curved lines, some lines that run parallel to each other, like our train track lines if you've watched any of our previous videos. You might want to practice some light lines, so only just touching the paper, and then some perhaps harder lines, maybe even some sketching as well, so you might be using this for some shading later on as well. Something to keep in mind. So let's get going. I'm going to grab a clean page here. I'm going to start with a open-topped rectangle. Now this is going to be the trunk of our elephant. So we're going to keep it really simple. So we've got a nice tall rectangle, but we're going to leave the top open just there. Next we're going to come over with the first ear. So we're going to go over in a nice big curve, and then we're just going to do the letter W over and over again, sort of side by side, or sort of bumpy curves. And we're just going to work that all the way in until we get to the side of the trunk. Then we're going to mirror that exact same thing on the other side. So we're going to go over in a nice big curve, and up to you whether you want to start at the bottom of the ear or at the trunk, but we're going to go curves to the bottom of the ear. Just like that. Now we can go in for some more detail at the top here. So add the top of the head, maybe a little tuft of hair. And then we're going to add some of those light lines. So just touching the paper. Just to add maybe a few wrinkles down the trunk of our elephant. I'm then going to add in the legs. And for the sort of toes, or toenails as it were, maybe even hooves, I'm not sure, technically. But we're doing an upside down sort of pattern copy of the bottom of the ears, but just adding it to the bottom so it's a repeated M or M sound to look like the bottom of our elephant's feet. Now I'll just quickly, I'm going to hide that layer, and we can just go over some different kinds of cartoon eyes, because it's been a little while since we've done this. And before we add our cartoon eyes to our elephant, I can show you a few different styles and designs, and then I can leave it up to you as to which ones you want to perhaps choose. So you've got your classic cartoon eyes, just like so. You've got more sort of Dennis the Menace style, a figure of 8 kind of shape, so they're connected together. Potentially if you want to be more sort of Aardman animation, or if you've watched any Disney XD, so there's things like Gravity Falls and Amphibia, then the eyes are sort of really close and packed together, very Chicken Run of Aardman animation. Then you've got some slightly different styles of eyes. So, for example, I keep mine really simple, and I just use 2 very simple lines. Again, the more simplistic you can be with conveying emotion, it makes it a really quick, easy image to look at. You could also just simply do 2 dots if you'd like to. Or, for example, you could do 2 slightly larger dots. And then you might want to add in or leave a gap for a little bit of shine as well. on those eyes there. So there's so many different types of cartoon eyes that you could do. And I'm still finding ways that people do their eyes as well. So there's really so much to go at. Have a look at cartoon shows, comics and things. Have some ideas, give them a go, and you might even come up with your own. Some people have almost like a really iconic kind of pupil style that makes them stand out as well. And again, that can be a really cool, useful tool as to how to kind of convey some emotion as well into your cartoon character. But there you go. So there's lots of different styles of cartoon eyes. So we're now going to go back to our elephant and we can add those eyes in. So I'm going to go with my classic style of eyes. I'm going to keep it really simple. And there we go. So there you have it. There's our first cartoon picture of our elephant. Really nice and simple, starting with that vertical rectangle with the open top, and then just adding other rectangles for the legs, roundness for the ears with the upside down bumps, and same for the head here with the little tuft of hair. Really simple, but when you put those shapes together, it makes an awesome animal. Okay. Let's move on now to our next set of elephants. Now, these ones are going to be 2 different sizes, so this is going to be good practice to having a go at taking an image or something that you've learnt and then scaling it. So I'm going to start with the larger of the 2 elephants because that's going to fill your page. If you'd like to grab a different piece of paper, or if you've still got some space on what you were working on before. We're going to come up with a line here, and then we're going to go over actually with the tip of the trunk, like so. And then we're going to bring it back down and around. There we go. And then we're going to go up and over again with that ear shape, just like so. Then going to come around with the mouth there. And this time, this elephant is going to be walking. So these rectangles are going to be curved as if they're moving one after the other. There's a bit of the belly. And the back leg's going to go all the way up and over and is actually going to show the back of our elephant as well there. Now, the legs. Thinking about where the movement of the legs is going to be, which ones can we see and which ones can we not see, or are they further away? So it's opposite, so one forwards, one back. So if the front one's going forwards, then the other front leg is going back. So we can portray that by drawing it again. I'm pushing those lines up to it because it's on the other side of the elephant. And then again, it's opposites for the back legs. So the back leg there, it's slightly further back. So this one's going to be a little bit more forward. And I said at the start of the video when we'd started warming up that we're going to do some shading lines. So a little bit sketchy, but all I'm going to do is I'm going to start here. And you don't necessarily have to go all the way down because it's where is that light coming from? You have to think about that. But I'm going to shade this leg all the way down because it's on the underside of this great beast. There we go. And the same for this one as well, being shaded by the body of this elephant. Nice, quick and sketchy. If you want to, you could fill it in so it's block black, similar to our sort of neck shadow that we do for our cartoon humanoid characters. But yeah, so there's lots that you can go at there, but it's just adding a level of depth to our picture. We could also add a secondary line up here for the other ear as well, because these ears are so huge. And again, you have to imagine that's going behind the body, so you're not going to draw the underside. There we go. I'm going to do a different style of cartoon eye this time. I'm going to go classic cartoon. I'm going to add in those wrinkle lines onto the trunk. there. So again, because we're seeing the character from the side this time, you have to imagine where those lines are going to be. We'll add in the feet details. There we go. If you want to, if it's not block black and you can't, you can still see through, then you can, by all means, obviously add them to your other legs as well. Finally, we're going to add a tail. So we're just going to come down with a quick line and 1, 2, 3. So there you go. There is our first of our 2 elephants, slightly larger than our next one. Now for this, if you're using pencil, then you might want to give it a quick sharpen, or if you're using a pen, you might want to use a fine liner, so you can do nice, small, quick, detailed lines. So we're going to start off again with our rectangle, slightly curved again, and we're going to come in and we're just going to do repeating those details, but we're practicing drawing it really nice and small. So having created those simplistic shapes, it's good practice to see if you can have a go at drawing them as small as you can. So I'm going to draw this elephant ever so slightly at an angle. And it's a tiny little dinky elephant. There we go. So I've just brought the back line again down and around, and then really small, almost square-like little stubby legs for our little baby elephant here. I'm going to shade in that leg just there, again showing that level of depth, and we'll add on the tail just like so. Finally, to finish off our picture, we can add a few more details if we'd like to. You could potentially add a bit of a branch or something in the trunk of the adult elephant. Let's go ahead and add some leaves on there. Because they have incredibly powerful trunks, so they can pick up and move things around as they go. And we're also going to add some ground so our elephants aren't just floating. So I'm going to turn my page to help me draw a nice straight line, but I'm going to imagine where that line appears and disappears on the legs of our creatures. There we go. Let's just bring that back there. Okay, and we could even add maybe a little bit of grass, thinking about where our elephants might be walking through. So there you have it. There's our elephants of different sizes, and then we had our other elephant from before. Very, very basic shapes. Thinking about putting them together, similar to our last video, and how you can practice those lines and sort of letters to come up with our fantastic creatures. So hopefully you enjoyed this cartoon doodle draw along with me, Mr Wyatt. If you did, then go ahead and give us a like and subscribe to support the channel, and you can even submit your artwork to cartoonwithmrwyatt@gmail.com. Thanks very much for watching, and I will see you next time.